This is Unit 2, Level 2, comparing decimal numbers. So we've talked about decimal place value and talked about how to read decimal numbers. Now we're going to compare them. So I'm going to start with two numbers. The first is 47 and 824 thousandths. And the next one is 47 and 842 thousandths. Now you'll see that I followed step one. Step one is line up your decimal places. So you want to make sure that the decimals that way are lined up. That way you are able to compare apples to apples. So you want to make sure you're comparing the tenths to the tenths place and the ones to the ones place and so on and so forth. Step number 2 is starting on the left-hand side, because of course if one of these numbers was bigger than a 2-digit number, that number would be bigger than the other. But starting on the left-hand side, you want to compare the value of each digit. So we're going to start here in the tens place. We have a 4 and a 4. 4 and 4 are equal, so we're going to move to the next place, the ones. 7 and 7 are equal. So we're going to move to the next place. We have an 8 and an 8. Those are equal. And then we'll move to the next. We have a 2 and a 4. Which one's bigger, 4 or 2? Obviously the 4. So 47 and 842 thousandths is greater than 47 and 824 thousandths. Okay. Let's try another example. Let's compare 67 and 371 thousandths to 67 and 317 thousandths. Again, we are lining up those decimal places. Okay, so then we start on the left-hand side, moving left to right, left-hand side, and compare the digits. We have a 6 and a 6 in the tens place. Those are the same, so we'll move to the next. 7 and 7 are the same, so we'll move to the next. 3 and 3 are the same, so we'll move to the next. And we have a 7 and a 1. Obviously, the 7 is bigger than the 1. So 67 and 371 thousandths is greater than 67 and 317 thousandths. Okay, let's go ahead and do one last example. So in the first one, I have 4 and 4 hundredths, and in the second one, I have 4 and 40 thousandths. Notice that on these, the top number is missing a place. There's no digit there. So think to yourself, is there a number that we can use as a placeholder that we could put in there? And yes, the answer is that there is a placeholder. It is 0. Now let's go ahead and, since we already have our decimals lined up, let's go ahead and compare them from left to right. So in the first one we have a 4 and a 4. Those are equal. Next one I have a 0 and a 0. Those are equal. The next one I have a 4 and a 4. Those are equal. And in this last one, now that I put a placeholder, 0 and 0 are equal. So these two numbers are equal in value. When I rewrite that to show my greater than or less than, I want to make sure that I rewrite it using the original number. My original number was not 40 thousandths. My original number was 4 hundredths. So I'm going to go ahead and show that that's equal to, even though I put a placeholder in up there, to 40 thousandths. Okay, so make sure that when you rewrite it, you're taking that 0 back out. This is Unit 2, Level 2, comparing decimal numbers.